So our opponent just mentioned that the wall will be completely sealed off. That is not what we're presenting here. The wall, we will obviously be able to cross the wall at some points. Like currently in San Diego has a big fence, but there's a way to cross the border. You just have to pass through customs. Yeah, so, all right, just wanted to make that clear. So I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna go over like three points here. I'm gonna start by making the claim that our current immigration policy is failing. Then I'm going to go over the consequences of that failing immigration policy, both economic and ethical. And then I will conclude by saying why the wall will help. And in the process, I'm going to try and build on what my partner has said previously, and then respond to some of their claims. So currently, as my partner mentioned, we have 21,000 agents, Border Patrol agents, protecting our border, and 651 miles of fencing. And it's currently not adequate, and the fencing is not adequate because fences or barriers aren't adequate. It's because they're just old and small. The wall we are presenting is going to be big and will not be able to be crossed easily. So currently in 2016, there were 400,000 reported apprehensions by Border Patrol agents. And that's a lot. You can't assume that they caught all of them, so it's difficult to get statistics on just how many actually crossed the border. But if we apprehended 400,000, it's reasonable to think that half of them got through, or at least. So that's a large number of people crossing our border illegally, and it's a problem that needs to be fixed. So a result of that is that we have 11 million illegal immigrants living in the United States. And so just that statement alone just kind of verifies that we have a broken immigration policy. Like, that would be over 5% of our population. Yeah, around there. So what are the implications of this? There's economic implications. That's what I'm going to go over now. So currently, there are 8 million illegal immigrants in the workforce. That makes up 5% of the workforce. And it's important to note that illegal immigrants work for lower wages. And the willingness of illegal workers to accept low wages actually depresses the wages for any legal workers that would try to go into that occupation. So that's important to remember here. So it's kind of like a popular thought that American workers don't want these jobs that are being taken by illegal immigrants. And that goes back to the point I just made. It's because when illegal immigrants are hired, it depresses the wages for the whole occupation, and that's what makes U.S. citizen workers not want those jobs. So it's kind of like circular logic, and if the illegal immigrants didn't have those jobs, American workers probably would want them. So another economic implication is that 20% of the average household income of illegal immigrants is sent back to their home nations. And this is money that doesn't go back into our economy. It's money that doesn't get taxed in sales tax, and it is a burden to our economy. So like my partner mentioned, $116 billion is the cost to American taxpayers annually. And this isn't because they are foreign, it's because they're poor. If you're poor, you're getting more help than you put back in taxes. And generally most of these people that come over are poor, and they're in that low tax bracket, and they need help. And that help comes from the taxes of the payments of American taxpayers. So here's some ethics of this debate. there were 462,000 total deportations in 2015. And in building the wall, hopefully we limit the illegal immigration so we no longer need these massive deportations. And I mean, deportations, they tear families apart. Immigrants come to this country, they have kids, the kids are citizens, and at some point their parents run a red light or make some minor crime and they're faced with being deported back to their home country, and the kids are left with the decision of staying in a country that they grew up in without their family, or heading back to a country that is foreign to them with their family. And that's a tough decision to make, and it's in building the wall we seek to prevent that situation from happening. So then the economics of deportation is also important. So every deportation costs an average of $10,854. That is from CNN Money. In 2016, ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, spent $3.2 billion to identify, arrest, and detain and remove illegal immigrants. So, those are some problems with our immigration system. Why will the wall help? It's pretty straightforward. If you put a wall there, make it big enough and impenetrable, it's going to limit illegal immigration into this country. It's pretty straightforward, but I'll give you some statistics on other countries that have these barriers. So 65 other countries have built security fences and other barriers to protect themselves from large-scale migration and terrorists. Israel faces imminent terrorist threats every day, and since they built their wall, suicide bombings have decreased by over 90%. So the wall has done its job by removing the people that are harming them. And then, okay, that's it.